Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health risk for December 3rd, 2025. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com. And for you who shop on Amazon, we have a storefront, Patient Weather, on Amazon. You can support Patient Weather by doing your shopping, Amazon shopping, through our portions of our webpage. Looking at the surface map for the 3rd, we have high pressure dominating almost all of the country, and it's extremely cold high pressure cutting southward. There is a frontal area stretching from Montana clear through Oklahoma, back up through the Michigan Upper Peninsula. However, we have snow on the ground here in the easternmost portions of the Four Corners, and snow on the ground across the lakes and into portions of New England. Looking at our vitality index, a compound measure of all of the risks that can impact human health. We have some activity going on here in Nevada into Wyoming and Idaho. We have a very large amount of activity running up the plains from Texas to the Dakotas. Note there is a difference between Texas and then picking up the rest of the upper plains. We do have another area of interest along the eastern seaboard and a very interesting area of interest here in southeastern Canada. Looking at pressure change, and pressure change is always an issue for people with both migraine and headache. We mainly, for the U.S., have rising pressure here across Nevada into southern Idaho, and then really rising pressure from northern Texas Panhandle across the Oklahoma Panhandle, all the way up from Kansas through the Dakotas, picking up Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. And then we have another area of rising pressure starting in Florida, and rather unusual for Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, picking up a portion of West Virginia, cutting across Pennsylvania and the southernmost aspects of New England. We have a touch of falling pressure up here in southeastern Canada. Looking at temperature changes, rather dramatic for this time of the year, and you can see that cold air just rushing down the plains and really moving eastward through almost all of the eastern portions of the country. But we do have some warming temperatures right here from Texas, East Texas, up into Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, and then off into southeastern Canada. Dew point temperature changes, pretty much reflecting the same issue. We have deeply falling dew point temperatures here down the plains, rising dew point temperatures here in the central portions of the country, and then falling dew point temperatures here again along the eastern seaboard. Vapor pressure just confirming what's going on. Looking to POI, which is our measure of the availability or the change in availability of the oxygen in the atmosphere, you can see we have significant swath of risk of migraine, spottily through much of California, but getting significant across Nevada into southern Idaho and picking up into Wyoming, but a very significant risk of migraine risk from easternmost portions of New Mexico into Colorado, and then from the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles through Kansas all the way up into the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, and going all the way into the Michigan Upper Peninsula. Another significant risk of migraine, unusual here for the entire state of Florida, picking through Georgia, the Carolinas, West Virginia, off through eastern Pennsylvania, and the southernmost portions of New England. Note the risk of asthma and arthritis stretching from eastern Texas all the way up through Louisiana into Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, and then along the Canadian-U.S. border, picking up the Canadian cities from Windsor to Quebec. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated, and if you hurt, won't you tell us where you're located? Finally, if you shop on Amazon, please go to our store, Patient Weather, on Amazon, and support Patient Weather by